What up, what up, what up? Daniel Augustin here with a quick instant reaction from the West Virginia at BYU Big 12 matchup. Very important game, you see. I have been pretty intrigued by the BYU Coogs for 2 years now. Last year, I was rocking with Colorado for, I would say, about 6-7 games in, and by about 7 games, I started to see a lot of the cracks. I think I more so started to see the cracks after the Nebraska game, but they picked up steam, won like 4 or 5 in a row, and the Big 12 excitement really hit me. It really hit me because I started to see the possibility, this smaller school getting into the playoff, and Colorado ran into BYU, and BYU whooped that ass. Still can't get that game out of my mind. They whooped that ass. And since that moment, I've been watching BYU from afar. I've been intrigued by them. I have been a fan. And the year starts off, and then we hear this whole Jake Retzlaff business, and it's like, whoa, okay, well, let's go ahead and just scratch them off the card. They're no longer viable. Because Retzlaff seemed like a leader on that team. And I just got to say, shout out to Kalani Sitake, shout out to the entire coaching staff over there at BYU, because, man, they have found a way where there seemed like there was no way. They have a true freshman at quarterback, a guy wearing number 47, which is crazy to me. So crazy. Number 47 at quarterback. He, sure enough, is going to be how should I say, the way Shador popped off with this, and that became like synonymous with like celebrations, touchdown celebrations, and stunting. Bear Bachmeier in his own way is stunting by wearing 47 at quarterback. Even though it looks crazy, he's stunting on people, because I think when you see somebody wearing 47 at quarterback, automatically you're going to say to them yourself, like, what is this? And just on the eye test alone, when I look at him, I see a kicker. I see a guy who maybe could be the fullback or something. And I'm watching this game last night, and he is wheeling and dealing. And he's a freshman, so he's got so much more to learn. There's room to grow. And I don't know, maybe in some ways he's better than Retzlaff. I can't say that right now, but what I want to talk about really quick is some of the bright spots for BYU. I'm going to also talk about some of the weaknesses as well. But the 2 main bright spots that I've been noticing, I'm not going to just say 2. There are 2 in particular from this game, but I'm going to touch on, I guess, maybe 3. 2 on the offensive side. I'll go 2.5 because I'm going to talk about Bear Bachmeier a little bit more. But I love the fact that they're not shying away from putting the ball in his hands. He's got the ball more than anybody else on the field. Bear Bachmeier threw the ball for 25 attempts, completed 18 of them, ran it 12 times or so. So he's got more touches than even LJ Martin. That says so much about what they see in him, how much they trust him, and what they expect of him. He's very quickly becoming a leader on that team, and he's not really doing these types of things where he's trying to stand out on his own. I saw him score the other night, and the first thing he did when he scored, I think it was after his running touchdown, the first thing he did was turned around and he looked at his guys and ran over to his guys. He wasn't like, look at me, look at me, look at me. This BYU team, what I noticed about them when they played Colorado last year in the Alamo Bowl, they play like a unit, dog. A unit. And that is more dangerous than anything else. 2 more bright spots on the offensive side of the ball. 3 more. I cannot ever talk about BYU without talking about LJ Martin. I'm a fan. But also Parker Kingston and, what's his name? Wide receiver. Chase Roberts. Oh, first of all, Chase Roberts, if you watching this, bro, you got to get in the end zone on that one, dog. You got to do something. You got to figure it out. You got to get your stiff arm game on point, your hurdle game on point. You cannot allow that to happen, because that's got to be one of your clips for when you go into the draft, and they need to see you finish. But Chase Roberts and Parker Kingston, I'm impressed, man, especially Parker Kingston. I remember last year, when I first started studying BYU, it was after the BYU Kansas State game. And everybody thought Kansas State was going to roll BYU. And here comes here comes BYU. And then, they start catching some momentum. And then here comes Parker Kingston with a return. Once the return happened, it was over. And he sure enough did the same thing to Colorado. And in that same regard, there's also a player on BYU's defense If I'm not mistaken, his last name is Glasgow. And listen, I'm doing this off memory right now, so I could be totally wrong, but in that Alamo Bowl game, he picked off, and when they played Colorado just last week, he picked off Caden Salter. I'm a fan of these guys. I do see some weaknesses on BYU's in the secondary. All right, their secondary scares me a little bit. And the main reason why it scares me is because there's going to come a stretch in October and early November. BYU's got Utah on October 18th, Iowa State October 25th. Then they got Texas Tech, TCU, and Cincinnati. I feel like BYU can win. I feel like BYU can beat Utah, and they can beat Iowa State. I'm a little bit concerned about Texas Tech, though, and Cincinnati, because they have more offensive weapons. But the way BYU looks on offense, they look like the kind of team that can get caught up in a shootout with you. Their defense is scrappy, so they can probably get you to turn the ball over on downs a couple times, get you to punt the ball. But, I mean, I'm watching this offense, and, I mean, these white boys, they lining up. They're running away from these brothers. Parker Kingston was running away from brothers last night. Chase, you got to finish that now, because it would have been both of y'all, and it would have just been double trouble. You know what I mean? That just would have been like, yo, there was a guy in my college, or one of my colleges. I went to quite a few, but I played at a school in Nebraska at Kearney. That's where I first went before I transferred. I went to JUCO and then FIU. But there was a guy in my school. His name was Kyle Kaiser. He's a white guy. Smooth as hell. Smooth. Just reminds me a lot of Parker Kingston. And so when I see Parker Kingston, I went ahead and started tracking him on ESPN. Just some of these guys are like the sleeper picks that people don't know of. They're not paying attention all the way to BYU, but these guys are undefeated. So big shout out to BYU. That was a good win last night because you're much better than West Virginia. The score looks closer than it actually was. BYU really did spank that ass. So big shout out to BYU, man. That's a big win, an important win. You got to win those games that you're supposed to win. Got to win those, because once you get here into this latter part of the schedule now, and you got Utah and Iowa State and then Texas Tech, BYU's schedule might just keep looking better and better and better. And sometimes when that happens, you start really just kind of looking at the schedule and looking at the possibilities a bit and getting caught up in that. And the Big 12, I talk about the SEC a lot. I'm a big SEC guy, but the Big 12 also has got quite a few teams up at the top that are still undefeated, about 5 or 6 of them, that may just start cannibalizing each other. So it's going to be very vital here to see who wins which games, who loses which games, and which teams can avoid catching certain losses to certain teams. Texas Tech is a team you don't want to lose to, because they, to me, come off as like the team that has the most endowments, financially speaking and athletically speaking. They look like they're stacked. They look like they got depth. Cincinnati, just started studying them the other day. They look pretty good. Texas Tech and Cincinnati play each other today, though, which is important, because now one of those teams get to catch a loss from each other, and now the cannibalization starts to take course. So listen, guys, this is really quick. I don't want to get too caught up in this. Big win, important win, I would say. Important win. Every game is a big win. Every game is an important game. But very big win for the BYU Coogs last night. They really handled business, and they did it very impressively. There's one throw I can't get out of my head right now from Bear Bachmeier, the way he put it on a rope and allowed his wide receiver, was it Chase Roberts? Maybe. It might have been Chase Roberts, hit him on a post route and allowed him to run, catch and run. It was a thing of beauty, and I just didn't expect it, because this guy's sitting back there wearing number 47. You know what I'm saying? Well, look, guys, it's 8 in the morning over here, so that means the first games are about to pop off in 40 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this tape up and put this out and just get ready for the rest of the day. I'm very excited. It's going to be a very important day of college football. I'm really looking forward to everything the Big 12 has in store. I'm tripping. We got Iowa State and Cincinnati coming up. That's coming up here at 9. That's coming up in like 40 minutes. And then Oklahoma State, Arizona. I'm not going to be that crazy about that game. I'm going to more so give my attention to Iowa State and Cincinnati. Those are two teams that I really believe have a shot at the Big 12 title, so they're the ones that I'm going to be studying. And then you got Colorado and TCU later on. I'm expecting TCU to go in there and handle business. If they don't, then that's going to say more about TCU than it does about Colorado. I don't expect Colorado to win that game at all. But yeah, very, very important win for the Coogs. Looking forward to seeing what you do next week. When you go to Tucson to take on Arizona, because it could get a little tricky over there with Noah Fafita, and you just don't want to get too caught up. But I don't have any I don't have any fear about how Kalani is going to prep those guys. I think BYU is going to come out there and be ready to play. And they're slept on. I was watching College Game Day this morning, and they had the undefeated teams up there, and BYU was the one school that wasn't up there. It's like they're being slept on a little bit, and I just want to put it on notice that I see you. You feel me? But all right, guys, if you got to this part of the video, I really appreciate you rocking with me. Would appreciate it so much more if you decided to subscribe. My goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be amazing. Kind of far away right now, not gonna lie. Need like 4,800 or maybe 4,700 something odd, but it's cool. Just would really appreciate it if you decided to subscribe. All right, guys, peace.